There we are. There we are. There we are. There we are. It's Mirador Television, coming out of the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, East Sussex, for another morning of fun and games. What a great day we had yesterday on Independence Day. We had more people in the studio than you can shake a stick at, more views, more interesting chat, and it was a great, great day, I have to say, from our point of view anyway. I hope it was from yours. What do you do when you fall in love? Let's see. What we need to do first of all is to give you a little check on the weather and the time and the date. It is 8:34 on the 5th, Tuesday, the 5th of July in the year 2022, and we are broadcasting from the White Hart. The weather outside is going to be 21, 22, a slight breeze, a little bit of scattered cloud, but not a great deal. It's going to be a nice day. It is going to be a nice day. Now, what we have to do is to try and, we almost got there. The newspaper headlines, which we tend to do at this time every morning, and take a look at what nonsense our leaders and all the know-it-alls have got us into, what a pickle we're in, and how nobody seems to have an idea how to get out. That's a good positive thought for the day, is it not? Yes, indeed it is. Let's cozy up a bit. All right, let's just go through the newspapers, through the front pages, and the Mirror. Johnson did know about Pincher. Suitably named Pincher, although I know actually Chris Pincher, and he's a very decent and nice man. But he's got caught being stone drunk and feeling up a couple of members of a very exclusive club while he was in that state. And they didn't like it very much. So it's got back to the House of Commons, and he has been sacked as an MP, which is another by-election, I suppose. Oh, goodness gracious me. But Christopher, what a sad end to a very illustrious career. Very decent bloke. But they, of course, while we've got cost of living problems, we've got energy price problems, we've got NHS problems, we've got this problem, we've got that problem, all of which is affecting our way of life. What we are doing is we're ignoring the fact that we are at war, and we're getting all excited once again about some sleaze in Westminster. Well, Westminster has enough sleaze to satisfy anybody. Why on earth they would want to actually pinpoint it, I don't know. But I suspect that it's if you point the finger in one direction, is people don't look in the opposite direction, and there is enough to satisfy everybody there. Very few squeaky cleans, I'm afraid. So the cabinet is angry at defending Johnson again. Yeah, a bunch of lightweights. They are. If I was them, I would defend Boris for all I'm worth, because if he goes, they probably will go, and if they go, then their seats are as much fragile as anybody else's. What we're going to do now is hopefully, no, we're not. We're going to plug this in and see whether we can actually get a bit of light on the subject. We were busy getting everything going. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? Yes. We were so busy getting stuff ready to show you that we didn't really pay too much attention to whether we got all our own ducks in a row. So I'm joining the 650. The 650 are the 650 useless people that we've got in Parliament. Yeah, I can't think of one. Well, anyway, it's on the different headline. We'll wait for it. But the Guardian. Parliament urged to act over sexual abuse claims. Oh, my goodness me. Yes, well, you would expect that from The Guardian, wouldn't you? They can't wait to find all the sleaze in creation. That Parliament must act. It says the FDA and Prospect, which represents more than 1,000 parliamentary workers, have written to the Speaker of the House of Commons and saying, get a grip. Well, yeah, they got to get a grip, but not necessarily on all their misbehavior. That really has got to be taken in a different context. People are naughty. Come on, let's face it. People are naughty, and anybody is quite often who is squeaky clean is he who casts the first stone. But we have far more important things for parliamentarians to deal with right now. We've got cost of living, we've got energy, we've got NHS, and we're at war. Everybody seems to forget that we're at war and that we've been threatened with missiles to be dumped on London. Where do we see what they're doing about that? Because they're all too busy navel gazing. Navel gazing. Yes, indeed. So please, can we get some action? Can we get some action in Westminster from the 650? The 650 people, good and true, that we've elected to represent us and to actually get on with running the country. The Daily Telegraph. Starmer clashes with party on Brexit. Now, this is a little bit different in as much as so the leader of the opposition has decided that party policy is going to be let's make Brexit work, right? And he's established that is going to be the party's slogan. Let's make it work. It's bad enough in the Conservative Party with the some of the right wingers who don't want Brexit, but in the Labour Party that's absolute dynamite. And I wonder whether Starmer will actually survive. Now, in many ways, even though he's a headline figure, I don't know much about Starmer. I don't know how tough he is, how resilient he is, how he controls the troops. But he's declared open war in the Labour Party now, and it'll be very interesting to see how he gets on. Oh, yes. Oh, brilliant stuff. So Starmer clashes with the party on Brexit. Keir Starmer, yes, Metro. Britain on a go slow campaign. We are really also in the hands of all these idiots that protest about everything. Oh, it's so important for them to protest. The fact that they're disrupting the country or making life difficult for their fellow citizen doesn't even occur to them. Not occur to them. Goodness gracious me, such detail must not be taken into consideration when we're actually making everything go slow. And these groups are actually driving along motorways at 10 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour or whatever, slowing absolutely everything down. Oh, whoop-de-doo. That's going to solve anything. Yeah. What you can do, you're going so slowly, you don't really need to have your hands on the wheel. You can look up as the cruise missile goes over your head. Yes. Oh dear. What absolute rubbish. What absolute nonsense. What are we going to do about these people? Well, actually, if we get on to another headline, there's Priti Patel in the Daily Mail says, arrest the protest mob. Arrest them. Start throwing them into clink and see how their protest goes from then on. Well, Priti Patel is a bit of a controversial figure. The one thing is that whether in fact she manages to get it through Parliament or get the support or not, but she is a woman of action. Let's do this, let's do that. And actually, all I've ever heard is people denigrating her. Perhaps she's somebody that we've got to listen to. We didn't listen to Churchill before the last war. We thought he was something similar. He made a lot of sense. The only thing is that nobody woke up to it until it was almost too late. And some of the things that Pretty is suggesting going to be too late. Arrest the protest mob. Too damn true. Put them in the clinker. Not for too long. 25 years would do. Oh, dear. I am getting tough this morning. The Times. Get tough with petrol protesters, police are told. Well, now somebody has told the police. Who's told the police? Let's see. The Home Secretary's stance was backed by Downing Street. It quotes a senior government source saying they were looking to the police to use the powers they have already that have been given by the government to deal with these protesters. So in other words, the police already have got the power to throw these people into the clink, presumably, but aren't using them. So now the police are being told from the powers that be, from the 650, get on with it. Don't let them disrupt the country anymore because they're enjoying it. They enjoy the whole thing. Peaceful protest is okay. But what it's got to do is it's got to be taken in context of what we need as a nation. And that what we don't need at the moment is a slowdown. The economy is in dead trouble. According to, I think it's OECD, we are the worst in Europe. We are going to have negative growth. And you know what that means with the tills? Bing. Not ping, ping. Bing. And we're all in trouble. We are all in trouble. And it's about time that realization came home, particularly to all those people who work from home. Yeah, come on. Or the other one, work from home. Might get something done, just to make sure that the form is filled out. But generally speaking, the services provided by almost every sector now are absolute nonsense and rubbish. And so many companies believe that we actually have computers to help us, when in fact we are allowing computers to run the country. And it's all a bunch of nonsense, all a bunch of stupidity. Ooh! Yes, indeed. What's the Financial Times on about this morning? Massive disruption predicted as the national train drivers are going to go on strike. As if they haven't had enough time with lockdown. Is these people who are quite well paid have got a job. They have got a job, which many people now do not have. They have got a job, and what are they going to do? Make it difficult for everybody else to work. Well done, chaps. That's good, positive thinking. I like that. I'm not going to vote for you, right? Get your act together. Stop slinging mud at the government, because they can and will sling mud back. And the mud battle is going to obscure the fact that we could have a cruise missile dumping on London. You think that's far-fetched? Let's hope I don't have to say wait and see. The Daily Express, Boris, tax cuts of £330 for 30 million will ease tough times. Well, they won't. They'd be welcome any time that you actually get a little bit of money back or knocked off your tax or whatever. It's welcome. But 330 quid and knocked off tax is nobody will notice. So who is it that, yes, the Express that tends to support the government is trumpeting that. But it's going to be too little and probably too late. We keep on hearing about all these things that are going to be knocked off. Nothing ever seems to show in my bank account. The Sun, Premiership star in rape arrest. Doesn't say which club. I expect social media will already tabbed him, but they are observing the law, and I'm observing the law. We're not going to name anybody. He's just a professional footballer. But a 3 a.m. rape arrest. What are the circumstances? Because somehow this issue of rape has got into a total and utter muddle. We don't know what we're talking about anymore. And it's always in the middle of the night. Does that say something? And then my dear Daily Star. Puff duty, it says, puff duty. Hard up smokers are turning to fake fags filled with insect eggs, fungi, and even poo. dear. Good old Star. Yeah, well, I mean, to me, that is quite important. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. well. So those are the main headlines. The main headline locally fills me with dismay, and I have to say that in chatting to people, they also feel very keenly about it. Is that walking past an individual walking past the pub? I don't know. It's called the Lansdowne. Yes, I think it is the Lansdowne pub in Friars Walk in Lewes. Was attacked. And I mean, when I say attacked, he needed hospital treatment from being punched. Whether there was a war of words ahead of that, I have no idea. But it seems that it was random, in as much as the couple didn't know one another, and that there was a lady involved at some stage. I do not want to see, and it's been bad enough throughout lockdown, I do not want to see us afraid again to walk the streets of Lewes at night. We have been a relatively peaceful and popular town, and with a good track record of low crime. I don't want to see that return. If necessary, then the chief constable, and I don't know whether she has any power or not, but Katie Bourne, the commissioner, start to look carefully at the policies of police. First of all, this ridiculous situation where they should all have a degree. How to make sure that a degree means nothing is valueless in one easy lesson. Give it to the police. But the police don't get so hung up on their computers like everybody else. That what we get is a town in which fear returns after a certain time of night. And really is the amount of things open in Lewes in the evening is that time could easily be 9 o'clock. How dreadful. How dreadful if you're afraid to walk through the streets of your own town after 9 o'clock at night. So here's where our local MP, our local police commissioner, and our local chief constable, all of whom paid from the public purse, start to get together and take a long, hard look at the situation of crime on the streets, and violent crime at that, and get all of us into a safe mode. A safe mode. Hey, how are we doing? Well, we've been ranting and raving for almost 30 minutes, haven't we? A little over 20. A little over 20. So once again, it is the Tuesday, the 5th of July, the day after Independence Day in the States. And we had a wonderful session here in the studio yesterday for Independence Day. We had more people and interesting people and colorful people than you can shake a stick at. We really have. So, where are we now? Where are we now? Let's just take a breath and let's go to our own version of the potter's wheel. Well, just checking to make sure that we've got a decent picture going out, and of course, I'll get it by pressing the wrong button as usual. So we'll go back to square one. Hang on. Press hold to unlock. There we go. There we go. There we go. If we need it. Well, the picture isn't so hot this morning, unfortunately. It did look as if it was okay, but we do have at long last a piece of equipment which should be installed tomorrow, and you will no longer have this fuzzy head thinking that in fact it's me with the hangover, when in fact it's the strength of the signal. So the last day you have to put up with this, hopefully. Now, shall we just see what we might have in the video file, just to keep you happy and amused, and a little bit of information and so on. Let's well, I'll tell you what. We have some archive footage of one of our very first programs, and I think that some of these programs are very interesting. And until we actually get around to Fergus Wood with wine this morning, why don't we just take a little look at this and go back into the past, Mirador's past. There we go. Hi, welcome to Mirador Television. This is local TV, but probably not local TV as you know it. We don't have much cash, so for one thing, we have to do much of our stuff outside. We don't even have a studio. So we don't even have a weather presenter. But we will. If my hat blows off, it's windy. And if I'm wearing a bikini, it's hot. Not that you're going to see me in a bikini very often. The body's gone, you see. Not a pretty sight. But when it comes to mixed weather, well, we really have a problem. It's silly of us to serve up the same old rubbish that you can see on regular television, so we're serving up rubbish of our own. But I hope that it's nutty enough to bring you back to watch us again. Stick with us, Nutty TV.
Now, what's what? What is a weekly look about the interesting things that happen in our town? Those of us who live here know about them, but to a visitor, they might find them very interesting.
This is ancient Keir Street. It's said that in the early 1800s the Prince Regent won a bet by driving a coach and four down it. The Norman Castle in Lewes, though small, is one of the oldest in the country. A wooden Saxon fort stood on the mound until 1080. Then William de Varenne, the first Lord of Lewes, built this stone bailey as his stronghold. A tiny castle or a tiny town. Famous celebrations of November the 5th. They're huge. Almost every one of the townsfolk takes part. It goes way back before the gunpowder plot to Queen Mary's burning of religious martyrs in the centre of the town in 1556. Free beer? Of course not. This pub, the Brewers Arms, is one of several independently owned pubs in the town. At one time in the 1800s, Lewes had 63 pubs and 17 breweries, and just a population of 9,000, but no free beer. Well, there are the Mirador cameras trying to keep a visual record of what goes on in the town. The famous Bluebell Railway, 11 miles of track carrying lovingly restored steam trains from Sheffield Park, just outside Lewes, to East Grinstead. The line opened in 1882. As the name suggests, the railway runs through wonderful bluebell woods, worth every puff. This is indeed a rare sight. Southern Rail was on strike so frequently, trains in motion were not often seen. This is the annual raft race down the River Ouse from Lewes to Newhaven. It's more than 40 years old. It raises funds for charity and contestants build their own rafts and try to sink the opposition. Staying with water, this is a lovely spot in Lewes known as the Pells. It was given to the town in 1603. The oldest operating swimming water pool in Britain. Lewes has several charming and interesting cafes. despite the presence of dull, uninteresting chain cafes in the town. The ports boast the best breakfast, and it's certainly very, very good. I can attest to that. Then there's the runway. Despite attempts by the rapacious railway barons to shut it, this bistro has been on Lewes Station for more than 30 years. Famous for its bacon sandwiches, Princess Di once stopped by for one. My favourite spot, especially at 6 o'clock on a summer morning, is the Priory. The building started in 1084, just 18 years after the Norman invasion. The Priory withstood the Battle of Lewes in 1264, raids from the French during the Hundred Years' War, but fell to the vandalism of Thomas Cromwell in 1535, as Henry VIII dissolved monasteries. This is the Crown Court, and Assizes has been located in Lewes since early Roman times. There's many famous trials. Finally, the stocks. Stocks have been used in Lewes for more than 9 centuries. Some say the punishment is still on the statute books. These are old stocks from around the country, but Lewes' stocks still sit in the grounds of the castle. Lots more interesting places in Lewes. If you live here, enjoy exploring. If you're a visitor, take a tour. We're rich in history. Oh, Jerry, what have you been up to?
Yeah, what's on then? Well, it may be a bit of fun, but what the heck? Anything else you want to know about what's going on in Lewes? There's very good local publication, Viva Lewes, jam-packed full of information of places, events, and the happenings in this little town. Okay, time for my pal January.
Bring you down, I leave you alone. Trust him all in all, 'cause he's the light. He'll lead your way through darkest of times. He'll never let you go. And he'll be there for you.
A very good day to you. I'm Edward Stick, Esquire. If you stay around long enough with Mirador Television, we'll see a lot of one another. This is Lewis Priory. Some people think it's just a pile of old stones. I suppose if you want to see it like that, you can. But between 1084 and 1537, it was a magnificent Cluniac priory. It had its share of troubles. King William didn't want it built at all. Some of the monks and some of the buildings were roughed up when the Battle of Lewes spilled over into its grounds in 1264. The French attacked it during the 100 Years' War of the 14th and 15th centuries. King Henry VIII tried to pull it down in 1537. And the good citizens of Lewes looted the bricks and stones to build other grand houses and homes. But it's still here. These fascinating ruins tell a fascinating story. Their guardian is my friend Jenry. Jenry is a medieval knight who fought in the Battle of Lewes and now stands vigil over the buildings and grounds. We've become good pals, and he's agreed that over the next series of programs we should tell you about the Priory and the things that have happened here over the past 1,000 years. We also want to put it into context, so we'll mix in stories about Lewes under the Romans and its development with the Saxons. I hope we turn out to be good storytellers, because it's some story. And there's the added bonus of hearing the beautiful voice of our friend Yeva. Mixed in with some ghostly chanting monks and perhaps a little medieval music. I hope it's a program you'll pop in to see from time to time. Must go and see Jenry now. We've a lot of planning to do. Okay, Yeva, sing us out. Toodle pip.
He never bring you down or leave you alone. Trust him only now, 'cause he's alive. He'll lead your way through darkest of times. He'll never let you go. And he'll be there for you. And he'll be there for you.
Well, there you are. That's one of our earlier programs, but also a program that explained what Lewis was all about, some of the events that take place, some of its history, and some of its artistic merit. A couple of things about that is, unfortunately, the restaurant, La Porte's, is no longer there. It closed at the beginning of the pandemic, and the beautiful lady who ran it saw fit not to return, as indeed many people did, with the pandemic taking a huge toll. And I also noticed that there was another item to do with the Pell's Pool. Another item that was out of date. So do forgive us for that, but we're showing you an archive program, and I'm sure that you will understand and you will make sure that we're happy enough with it. Let's tongue-in-cheek have a go.
Well done, the energy companies. They're full of bright ideas to help their customers. Now they've made power so expensive that for an average house such as this, you can't afford to heat it. So you don't need appliances such as this. But that means you also don't need a fridge, because you can keep your groceries cool and fresh without it. The house is cold enough. Well done, chaps.
Well, there's a little tongue-in-cheek effort of tweaking the tails of the energy companies there, who are not exactly covering themselves with glory during this crisis, this energy heating crisis. And it's I think that we must make sure that a lot of the stuff that they peddle as being their facts and they're feeling sorry for themselves, it's just a bunch of hogwash. And it's as daft as the situation that I've just outlined there. How silly can they be? It's well, enough said that the energy crisis has got us into a right pickle. It has. Let's hope that we can somehow see our way out of it. Although the 650, the people in Westminster at the moment don't seem to have anything more except gazing up their own navels and pretending that they are whiter than white. The fact is that Westminster can be a shagging shop, and it is understandable. You've got people of immense power, and that can be an aphrodisiac. So you expect a modicum of misplay, as it were. But what's happening at the moment is that the misplay is getting out of hand, and then everybody is pointing a finger and undoubtedly trying hard to get attention away from their own misdeeds. Oh, dearie me. Yes, indeed. Right, okay. It is 19 minutes past 9 o'clock. It is the 5th day of July in the year 2022. So we are now firmly entering the second part of the year. And God only knows where it's gone, because it was only yesterday that we were entering the first part. Lots of things have happened in the first 6 months of this year, and not many of them are good. I suppose, really, one of the things that we can say is that the cricketers have come alive. They're certainly giving everybody a run for their money. They're much better with bat now than they are with ball, but nonetheless, I'm sure that they can correct that. And the Wimbledon has gone off without, or the first part of Wimbledon has gone off without a hitch. There's a spitting and yelling participant who had a go at all the people watching. But then again, you can expect that from some dickhead who doesn't appreciate how his vast salary is being paid. So all in all, the first part of the year with the lockdown is quite a severe lockdown for the first couple of months, and our struggle to get out, energy crises. And my one bugaboo is that we are taking our eye off the ball, and it terrifies me, and that is that we are at war. We are at war, and we shouldn't forget that, because the fact of the matter is it's a dangerous and touchy situation. It is ongoing in Ukraine, but then Ukraine is a long way away, isn't it? Well, no, it's not actually. Nowadays, with missiles and high-speed aircraft, it is almost just next door. So it behooves us to keep our eye on the ball, to keep our eye on what's happening in Ukraine. Now, the newspapers this morning, a mixed bag, but some of them have joined the navel gazers and going after Christopher Pincher, who has resigned as an MP. And then Christopher Pincher leads to the Boris. So here's another chance to have a go at Boris. Keir Starmer has said to the Labour Party, he said as an official policy, that we will make Brexit work. Quite a substantial change. But then again, you see, that has outraged a number of people in the party who don't accept that political parties are made up of people who are supposed to be serving us, not giving them an opportunity to wave their hands and stamp their nasty little feet to decide on what they want. Our political system has been turned on its head and nobody gives a damn. And that is frightening, to say the least. And the fact of the matter is, I can rant and rave like this, and I actually do have people who are close to me who say, Keith, you were spot on this morning. But the average citizen, the average middle class don't care. They're much more interested in their knitting and their prams, or even working from home, and how that might upset the apple cart. It is sad that we don't take more pride and more interest in our form of government. But all we do is we complain about it and criticize it when it goes wrong. National elections, we normally get only about 70%. The locals are even worse. They're down to about 30%. So a third of the population dictate, in many ways, the sort of governance that we're going to have. Now, is that right? Is it proper? Is it fair? I suspect that it's not. But there are not enough people who will get a conscience. Excuse me, a conscience. Let's donate stuff to the food bank, right? Let's pour £2 a week in to save a puppy. Let's do all those things because they don't ask us either to use our minds, try to understand what's going on around us, or get active and out on the streets. Of course, getting involved politically does. So you don't have to get involved politically. What you need to do is to, instead of saying, I voted for him because he was a nice man, what you need to do is to try to put into context what on earth is going on. What on earth is going on? And to try to rationalize that into what is hurting you. What is hurting you, as indeed things are hurting. We are affected by galloping inflation. We are affected by a cost of living increase. We are affected by lockdown. And there are a few favorites coming up on the rails that we are not aware of or have lost awareness of. COVID is beginning to show its ugly head again. And look at what you want to bet about the howls of outrage when the government has to curb other excesses. But the fact of the matter is, the COVID cost the nation a small fortune in the first time around, and now it looks as if it's going to come a second time around. And that small fortune is going to be spent again, and it will be added to the small fortune that we're spending on all sorts of other things, and which is meaningless anyway, because 10% of the value of our economy is being wiped out. You don't have to be an economist to get interested in what's going on, even if it's only when you vote. But 30% vote, 30% plus, is disgraceful. And there is every argument that those people in Westminster who are so ready to say that they represent us don't represent us at all, because they are there as a result of apathy and lethargy on behalf of the voter. So when you go down and you sit and have your Costa coffee or Coffee Nero or the bake out or bake off or whatever it's called in the precinct, and you're sitting there feeling very smug, don't. Because that smugness the smile is going to be taken off your face in a very, very big way, because things are getting worse, they're not getting better. Our economy is stagnant. It's not growing. And according to the international analysts, it's not likely to grow either. And that is going to cause us great misery, rich or poor. And yesterday, we had a brief discussion on this program about whether the building bubble, the house buying bubble, is going to burst. Varying views. But the one thing is that no sector in our economy can keep charging ahead, inflating its prices, getting huge revenues, paying huge salaries, without a price to pay in the long run, or even in the short run. Yeah. Pretty naughty. Pretty naughty. It's 9:28. What we will do now is we will take a little break of about 2 minutes. This is the finale of Break an Egg. And then we come back in about 10 minutes or so with Affairs from the Heart. Affairs from the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, where we broadcast from the bar. Yes, from the bar. And where we broadcast without any sort of structure at all. We grab people as they come into the hotel. We go to our correspondence when we feel like it. So we don't expect you to watch on anything. But what we hope that we will encourage you to do is to dip in once in a while. Dip in here and there, just to see what we're talking about. Because the one thing that we do talk about is normally worthwhile. The issues of the day, we get experts in. We are able, as long-time journalists, able to put things into context. Is all in all, Mirador Television is different. It emanates from Lewes in East Sussex. We are local without being parochial. We take things that are happening in other parts of the world and get to look at them in the context of what our life in Lewes is like, and whether, in fact, there are hundreds and hundreds of other communities struggling with the same things. Okay, it's 9:30. I shall, well, hopefully I shall go away. and then come back and see you in a little while. That's what I hope. So let's shall we? Yes, that's what I hope. And let's hope that this is the right one.